What? Where's my? Hold on. Why are we black? Why are we? Where's my? Where's my? What? What is happening? Oh, folks, it's okay, Mo. All good, because apparently we are live, but apparently my webcam is. I don't know what's happening right now. Let's see. You can see me? I can't see myself. It is definitely dark in here. Just what the heck? I can't see myself. Hold on, folks. This is annoying. If everyone can see me, then that's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't need to see myself. But what the hell? All right, let's live. There we are. Sort of. Now I can see myself. Close that. All right. Apparently we can see, but I can't see myself. It's all good. Stream settings. Do. I don't know. All right, folks, what's going on? Glad everyone's here. If you're playing it in the background like Mo, totally fine. Harvest your potatoes, Mo. What kind of potatoes are you harvesting? We got sweet potatoes. We got russets. I was actually thinking about this the other day, Mo. What else do you Yukon Gold? Oh, those are some good potatoes. What other things do you grow in your garden? I know this is way off topic from X-Men, but I was like, what else does Mo grow? I grew up in my family, we grew a lot of stuff too. So I'm just kind of curious. All right. This is just awkward not seeing myself, but it's okay. We're here. Folks, so much stuff. Peppers, onions, eggplant. Oh man, I can go for some good eggplant. See, the reason why I like being able to have a small garden, but I kind of grew up on like a larger farm. It wasn't necessarily everything that we needed to grow. Pineapples, that's where it's at. It wasn't everything that we needed to like make money, but it was like my dad's thing that he liked to do and grew up. And like I just remember one summer we had planted a whole field. We had like 7 acres of like butternut squash, and we picked it, we cleaned it, we put it in baskets, and we sold it. Oh my God. I was like, I don't know, somewhere between 9 and 11, and I hated my life. I was like, this is awful. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Anyway, on from the farming talk. Folks, first off, so sad that this is over. But today's menu, ramen and scrambled eggs. That sounds pretty good, Marvel Reader. You do have to be into farming, Mo. It is relaxing. I remember going away to college and being like having to go buy my food. And I was like, man, I miss being able to like go out into the garden and like get a tomato or a zucchini, anything. But now it's like, damn, I got to go to the grocery store and it costs this much money. All right, X-Men, folks, one heck of an ending. One heck of an ending. As I was like scrolling through threads, someone was like, oh, it was Nerd Speech. He was like, Bo DeMeo and the writers for this last episode, and it was a GIF of oh gosh, I can't think of his name. Adam Driver in Star Wars. I can't think of the character's name, but when he was screaming more, and he was like writing in all of the cameos, and just more, More. Oh my god, so many cameos. Such a great, and I don't this might be legitimately one of, if not the best thing that Marvel has put out in general. TJ Spider, my guy, what's going on? Nice to have you here. This might be one of the best things. Kylo Ren, thank you. I'm so sorry, Polly. It's, we this is where we are in the day. Um, man, one of the best things that Marvel has put out, honestly. And I mean, again, I'll say it. I'm a Marvel stan, so I love almost everything they put out, with the exception of Secret Invasion, which had its good parts. But like, there was never there was never any episode that was not good. Like this was so good. How do we go back? Uncanny D-Man. How do we go back to normal Wednesdays now? Yes, this is going to be hard to do. Well, at least next week, at least in terms of like live streams, next week they're going to be um doing an assembled. From my understanding, there will be an assembled episode. So we'll watch that and we'll join again to chat about that at least. And maybe we'll talk about like our favorite moments. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Yeah, right. Marvel Reader, final line summed it up. Oh my, right? Um, Uncanny D Man. I don't know if you've ever been here, but I appreciate you being here. Um, but man, this episode. Where are my notes? I took some notes going back and forth here. But man, first thing that I thought about as we started this episode, and we had Charles and Magneto talking with each other, obviously in their minds and like going back to the past and like how they kind of met. And I don't know if this is true or not. Is that like the first thing that came to my mind is that like similar slash adapted from the comics or no? And yeah, tons of cameos right from the beginning. Mo saying like he likes Cap the way that is Cap was more how he expected him in the way that he likes the Cap to be, basically, right? Being against the Magneto protocols. And I mean, in that first little bit, we had Silver Samurai, Cap, Iron Man, Daredevil, Doctor Strange, Omega Red, Black Panther, who was T'Chaka, and Okoye and the Dora Milaje, Psylocke eventually. We even got, I didn't know this at the time, but we even got Peter Parker and Mary Jane were also cameoed. Cloak and Dagger. See, I missed that too. There were people who were clearly cameos, and I was like, I don't know who that is. Man, the chat is popping, and I love it. Let's catch up. They do that occasionally, Polly said. Not sure if they've done this, but I remember a lot of Magneto floating in the water. Good to know, Polly. From the comics, going back to what I said, there was even a moment when he turned away when Kelly okayed the protocols. Yeah, that's right, Mo. I think like the thing that it's obvious like later on, like when they did the Magneto protocol, did they think that an asteroid was just maybe going to fall straight to Earth? And we'll go right to the end when I was like thinking once Magneto came back to life and he helped save Earth from having the asteroid destroy it. I was like, none of these damn humans are going to be thankful that they fucking did this shit. None of them. None of them are going to be like, oh, all because of the mutants, we didn't go into an ice age again. Yeah, that's what I figured, Mo, right? Like the idea was that you blast asteroid M and the shockwave sends it out of orbit, which would make the most sense. But like thinking of all the possibilities that it could fall back down into Earth should be in the plan. That could be true, right? They didn't have an idea that it would already be on its downward momentum towards Earth, right? Not the droid. Yeah, Polly's right. And going back, I'm like, no one's gonna be thankful that the mutants actually stopped this and saving. And Polly said, no, the droids who built it would not be, the humans wouldn't even think about that. It would be the mutants who, caused it to eventually start falling down towards Earth. What else do we have here? Yeah, they did meet when they were younger in Israel. Thanks, Uncanny D Man. I didn't know that. Oh man, we are far behind here. Well, right after that, right, we've got lots of bars happening in this episode from Rogue, Magneto, Rogue at the beginning when that was a little cold when she was like, "Man, the power comes back on, and both of these guys are just out cold. What's happening?" I just could not help but laugh. Speaking of cold lines, oh man, when Sinister was like aged up to his actual like timeline age, and then he asked to see his face, and Morph turned into him, and he was like, "Looks the same to me." I was like, "Oh, Morph, you are cold, my guy." But well deserved for Sinister, and Morph getting some revenge against Sinister, which was good. Let's see, Cloak and Dagger. Let's see more cameos. Yeah, Mo. When they went into Wakanda, and Mo was like, "Y'all fucked up rolling up on Wakanda. You don't you don't go mess with Wakanda." I need to watch. I think Mo said this in one of his posts, but like I need to watch this like 2 or 3 more times to have like to like flesh out some thoughts. I've only watched it once, and I'm just like, there's so many things that happen. Cameos, Super J cameos I catched. Peter, MJ, Daredevil, Black Panther, Cap, Iron Man, TJ Spider. I think Flash Thompson or Eddie Brock was behind Peter and MJ. I didn't notice that either. Um, Omega Red, right? Something Star. I don't know her name, Polly. Um, Cecilia Reyes. Also, when Charles references the other mutants he likely means Shadow King. Mr. Sinister equals Dorian Gray. Snick Bam Thwip, nice to have you here. The Avengers did not do much to stop the missile strike. That's instant beef right there for me. Yeah, I mean, I think that they could be setting that up. Avengers versus X-Men in the Mindscape. Polaris, Wanda, and Pietro. Okay, I didn't see that either. So many dang cameos. So many dang cameos in this episode. Also, that whole fight scene with Rogue going up against Bastion, um that was awesome. Yeah, I did see that, TJ, the Easter egg that Scarlet Witch is off world. Polly, you need to rewatch ASAP. I already watched it twice. Yeah. Today has just been super busy. I had to try to go get I wanted to go to the comic book store to get my issue of Doom because I really wanted to grab that today. So it's just like I didn't have the time. Yeah, Rogue's revenge beating up Bastion was perfect. It was amazing, and to me, again, I have um, zero what do I want to say experience with anime, but to me, from what I've seen of anime, that looks very uh, resemblance of that, and I really enjoyed kind of that like aspect into the animation. TJ, thanks for coming on, man. We'll catch you on Threads. Appreciate you. Yeah, a lot seems to be inspired by anime. Again, I have no experience with anime, but That's what it at least looks like to me. Um, yeah, I mean, Bastion, again, I was just like, what is gonna happen when, like, he just kept brushing off all of their attacks, right? Like Polly said, is just absolutely wild. And, like, when he grabbed, oh man, Cable's arm, ripped it off, then just, like, bitch slapped him a million times, and then he, like, turned it into something that he could use, and then he was like a Doc Ock kinda, he used it at one time with gruesome arms, basically. I was like, "We got Doc Ock happening right now." There was definitely a lot of times at the end, Marvel Reader Marvel Reader, went back, um, talking about, queer coding and just, like, that whole scene with Charles and Magneto, especially at the end. I was like, "These 2 are gonna kiss. This is literally gonna happen right now. They're gonna kiss on screen." They kept getting closer and closer and closer. I was like, "They're gonna kiss. This is gonna happen." Right? Will they go all the way with this allegory? Like most end in his posts, like if you're not seeing this allegory out loud, you're just totally missing the point here. Totally. Like, I think I screenshotted it. There's one quote, or I wrote it down. I did not screenshot it. But like, I didn't ask for this programming, Bastion. He's like, I didn't ask for this programming. It was with Storm. And then she says that we can't fault people for basically being who they are because they didn't ask to be born, right? Like, one, such a good line, but like, right? Like, people can't change the way that they are. It's just, it's how they are. But we can't be assholes to them, pretty much. Oh, totally, Mo. Totally. What else? Play off old friend. Yeah, that's for sure. I felt, it was kind of like really sad to see Magneto in that time when he was just like the contrast for me of like 1 or 2 episodes before when he was just like ripping everything apart and now he's just there like at his lowest point. He can't even remember anything because he's just like so damaged from Charles. I was like, damn, this really sucks. Even the bit where Storm and Scott decided to stop fighting him and try talking to him. Yeah. And Polly, it almost wasn't coded. Pretty much. Might as well not be coded. I feel like Rogue, almost everyone had to go back, right? Though, Snake Man Thwip. Like, almost everyone had to go back to being on one side because they realized they're like, oh shit, we're going down. Yeah. But like that whole beginning was good. That fight with Rogue, like that was such a good scene when she just like I forget who said it. I got to go back now. I thought it was Rogue. I didn't write down who said it, but someone said to him, "How's your mommy, Sebastian?" And I was like, "Man, we got so many cold lines happening right now." Yeah, Sunspot getting some shine too was epic. Like finally, again, like it's finally nice. Cable said that. That's right. That's right, Polly. But when he said that, I was like, "Damn." Sunspot finally doing something again was nice. Was nice to see. And then Rogue still in that fight, like that thunderclap, she just like busted that right out in front of Bastion. I was like, damn. right? Roberto. It looks like Roberto and Jubilee are back together. They made up in the, it's very typical of a teenager relationship. They were broken up, they were together, then they were broken up for a few hours, and now we're back together. They're AWOL together, according to Forge. Nice. I didn't read all of the things, but I did look at the board and I wrote down everyone that didn't have their name crossed off. Jubilee did throw some hands on Bastion. The fact that she was like, "This is game over," and did it, I was like, "You got to know that this is not game over, right, Jubilee? Like, I'm pretty sure you got to know this is not game over." The most turmoil romance of the show. Just kidding. Gene and Scott are here. Yes. Or X Force. I'm so hoping for New Mutants. It seems like the way that that's going potentially with who's on the board, right? So we'll go right for it. On the board, that the people that were not crossed off, we have Iceman, Havoc, Colossus, Exodus, Shadowcat, Magic, Emma Frost, and Dust. Not gonna lie, I didn't even know who Dust was. I was like, am I even reading that? At first I thought it said Sus. I was like, who the hell is Sus? She's a new X-Men in one of the comics. How do they not need oxygen? Uncanny D-Man, how do they not need oxygen between Asteroid M and the moon? We're just gonna overlook that detail. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure of all of where this is gonna go. This is where I get lost because I have minimal X-Men comic experience. But it does seem like they can go a ton of ways. What I really want, and I think Mo, you made this as a thread. Sir Yuri G, what's up, bro? What's up, my guy? How are you? Thanks for joining. We're just all over the place, so jump in wherever. Danny Moonstar's team. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they did a ton. Scott was kicking ass. Just like and then Kurt too, right? Kurt, man, as he was just like teleporting Bastion from place to place and just lining him up for Jubilee and Cyclops, I just literally sat there just watching. I was just like, fuck, I love Kurt. He's so great. Oh damn, he does? I didn't know that. I did not know that Bastion kills Kurt in the comics. Right? Right, Yuri? Jubilee did step up a lot. She was like, we're going in on this. Yeah. Kurt is the best. And then just like what else here? And then, I mean, one, speaking of Scott too, just like that moment that he had at the beginning with Wolverine, where he's just like, do what you do best and heal. I was like, man, even though that they go at each other's throats, that they still are family and they still look out for each other. They were tired of hearing Jubilee is useless and decided to shut that shit up. Yeah. I did get real scared though for a hot second when Bastion was like, "My plan's coming together," or whatever he said, and that Sentinel came through. I was like, "What the hell is happening right now?" And obviously, that didn't last very long. We found out that uh, the rest of the X Men were back. Right? Channeling, yeah, definitely channeling Armageddon right there, Mo. And then just like They weren't gonna kill that's good to know. Jubilee melting Bastion's face in her broken shades, that was definitely awesome, right? Uncanny D-Man. Yeah. So, so good. And then, again, still speaking of, like, the Summers family, that whole moment, just, like, Cable, Scott, and Jean sitting there at the table, I was like, man, had me tearing up and shit there. Ever since I had my daughter, it's just like anything family related just gets me, and I'm like, "Oh, god, god dang it." Anytime there's a kid involved and it's sentimental, that gets me every time. Right, Marvel Reader? His name was Gambit, remember it. That was so Rogue went in on him. That was such a good fight scene. Such a good fight scene. What else we got here? I'm glad I'm not the only one, Mo, and I know I'm definitely not, but, like, for real, like, anytime there's something sentimental with family involved, uh, regarding, like, having a child and something along those lines, it just, like, tears me up because, man, once you have a kid, you understand that relationship now. Right, Polly? Like, I don't know again, I don't know much about, like, certain events in X-Men, but, like, Onslaught everyone kept predicting Onslaught, and then Polly was just like, I think they knew what we were gonna maybe lean into, and they were like, "Nah, we're gonna just switch it up here." You miss Yuri, you missed, Mo earlier in the chat, we were talking about how, um, whatchamacallit, how he was like, "This is more the Cap that I like," where you could kinda see that he was like, "Man, they're pulling out the rockets on him, like, they're doing the Magneto protocol," and he's like, "I don't really agree with this, but I'm still not gonna stop you," which doesn't make the situation any better whatsoever, right, for not stopping it, but, like, Polly had also mentioned is like, he deep down inside, he probably knows that they might have some stuff in store for the Avengers just in case, right? If the Avengers got a little out of hand, there's probably some backup stuff to stop them. Polly cries at every scene because so much is happening. And you watch this twice, Polly? Do you cry every every scene on even the rewatch? Bluey is super hard to get through as a dad. Oh my gosh, Bluey. Ugh, yeah, Bluey. One, I am convinced 100% is not for kids. It's for the adults. It is definitely for the adults, but also impossible to get through to watch. Claude, what's going on? Nice of you to join us. I think this will make him renounce his title and make him become nomad. Yeah. Charles, when he did that too, I was like, "Oh shit. We are screwed. We are screwed." Mo, who was spitting the hardest bars in this episode? That's a good question. That is a good question. I mean, Magneto had a good one again. People don't want to be better. They're already the best at everything. Best tribe, best faith. They even fight over who's the best victim. I was like, damn, that doesn't hit hard. It surely does. I feel like a lot I mean, Rogue had a good one, again, with just his name was Gambit, remember it? Like, I felt just, like, the emotion behind that and everything was just, like, super strong. Yeah, definitely directly referencing people wanting to be victims around that, Magneto quote. I mean, the Magneto bars throughout the whole series. That whole speech in, like, the 2nd episode, if I remember, when he gave his speech to the UN and, man, I think that was still so good. What else we got here? Claude, I did not see this Bluey episode about the Shadowlands, or maybe I did and I just missed the reference. What else is happening? I really thought Rogue was gonna copy all of the X-Men powers to fight Bastion. People in particular, people in the majority wanting to cast themselves as victims to justify their bigotry and oppression. I mean, yeah, so many. Clumsy Lemon, nice for you to be here. I think we all love the finale, but join in. We're just like chatting about everything. Join in on the chat. Whatever you want to talk about is fair game. Bastion was spitting though too. He was. I don't remember any quotes. I just felt like everything was happening so quick. I was like, I ain't got time for this. I just got to watch it. He was like, the problem with people are that they are good. That is true. I do remember him saying that. Keep refreshing my memory, Mo. But yeah, there's so many bars. I feel like Magneto had probably some of the best stuff all all season. They will definitely bring Gambit as Horseman of the Death. That's very possible. People did talk about that a while ago on a few live streams, Clumsy Lemon. Yeah, another Quicksilver sighting. I don't know who even mentioned him earlier. Maybe someone did. I might have missed it. The fact that people have the capacity for empathy makes it impossible for Bastion to push them to be completely genocidal. So true. Yeah. Mo said, notice he's been working so hard to push humanity to genocide mutants, and no matter how hard he tried, they wouldn't. Pietro's on the boat with Lorna, Wanda, and Rogue. Marvel reader Bastion fell back on the strategy of the Master Mold at the end of season 1 of the animated series. What else we got? So oddly enough, the writers of the show and the comics are actually optimists. Yes. Clumsy Lemon. Also, one thing I noticed in the scene in Magneto's mind, there's the boat. It looks like people important to him. Yeah. These are the people like Rogue, Quicksilver, Wanda, Polaris. I don't think Polaris is Eric's child. I could be wrong. It might have been Pietro that was there, who you're thinking, or like typo. I like to think that though too, Mo. Like I actually believe that people are mostly good, but a lot of people. Polaris is his kid. Thank you, Polly. Um, Magneto, man. Magneto's got all these kids, all these places. He's gotta do some stuff. But I agree with Mo. Like I do feel like most of us are usually good, except then whatever we're taught something by parents who have their own thoughts, and then it's not so good. It's not so much that we're good, but that we're capable of expanding our definition of us. Yes, that is true. But you're right in terms of, like, going back to the Magneto thing of, like, people pretending like they're in oh, where is it? I'm scrolling back up. Yeah, people in the majority who wanna cast themselves as victims to justify their bigotry and oppression. Like, when you really look at it, you're in the majority, right? Like, you're not oppressed. Magneto is in the canon of the Marvel Universe. Oh, Marvel reader, that was too good. Oh my gosh, that is too good. Every time, I swear, man, this is all this is off topic, but every time I see something about, like, um, Nick Cannon, I feel like it's just, like, literally 8 or 9 months later, and he's got another kid happening, and it happens to just be with another woman. I'm like, "Dude, don't you don't you ever think about using protection? Like, once, come on." Polly, the whole point of the comics is that they still trying to look for a possibility to coexist, so the books are relatively optimistic, except for genocide every once in a while. Claude, I feel like they gotta get Alex Summers on the squad. He was on that final board, right? Havoc was on that final board that Forge was looking at. When Magneto woke up in the Mind Place with Charles and he didn't know who he was at first, I was like, "Oh dear, we're getting Onslaught, aren't we?" But then everyone seems like it says like we're not getting Onslaught, really. Yuri. Yeah, I'm wondering that question too, right, Clumsy Lemon? Like, who sent the X-Men across time? Like, who grabbed them up and sent them some all these different places? Also, we did not. I mean, there are some people that we didn't see at the end, like Storm, Jubilee, Sunspot, and Wolverine, I believe. Like, we didn't see them at all. Yeah, who is capable of that's a good question, Mel. Like, who is capable of sending everyone through time like that? That is a great question. Only one possible answer for who grabbed them through time, Madam Web. You know what, Claude? You're probably right. I did not watch Madam Web. I spent my time doing something better yesterday than watching that. Her web connects us all. It's so true. That's what I thought too. Jubilee and Sunspot were on Earth, and then someone maybe I just missed it, and someone else said that we didn't see them at the end, and maybe they just got confused. But yeah, we didn't see Storm, and we didn't see Wolverine. That's what I thought, Polly. I'm pretty sure that they were standing next to Forge at the end. You're gonna watch Madam Web after the stream. Godspeed. From what I know, I can't really say too much. I haven't formed my own opinion because I haven't seen it, so I don't want to say too much. To be honest, when they sent part of the team to Egypt, Khonshu and Ra were like, "Oh, so true." Clumsy Lemon. I know, Polly. I know you don't care what Wolverine is. Yeah, lots of cliffhangers. For the longest time until he revealed his face, I was like, "I don't know who this person is in Egypt." And I didn't put 2 and 2 together that it could be Apocalypse. And then when Bishop came back, I was like, "Oh, finally, we got some Bishop." What else we got? Seeing T'Chaka was cool. And yeah, setting up the Age of Apocalypse with Strife and other awful perks of any Apocalypse storyline. Claude. He looks good, man. Apocalypse looks good compared to what we normally see him as. Also, I think you said it, Claude. Someone else said it. Like Roberto, man, he went from a gangly little teenager, must have been wearing some baggy clothes, to a jacked. I don't know how old he is in this, but he was freaking jacked. Marvel Reader, yes. The mandate of this show seemed to be make everyone hot, pretty much. I mean, that's just like the general code for most superheroes, I feel like. It's like everyone's just jacked. He looked more like Krakoa in Exodus. Yeah, he did. Apocalypse from X-Men Apocalypse gives me PTSD. Anytime that I see that version of Apocalypse, I'm like, man, this they could have done this better. Poe is short for Apocalypse. Yeah. I like that. Though Polly, Poe is short for Apocalypse. I really think I agree, Clumsy Lemon, that this is the best adaptation of X-Men. This is honestly one of the best projects that Marvel has ever put out, in my opinion. Oh, hot Calypse. Nice, Claude. But, like, out of all the things, like, live action, absolutely anything, like, there was nothing that was not, I feel like, satisfying about this entire show. And then, what else? I think Mo said this, but, like, and we've talked about it before, but we need just its own Marvel animated universe. Like, I think Mo said it. Um, that after seeing all these cameos, just like developing a Marvel animated universe, like I would definitely watch the hell out of that. I think so many people would, especially if it's like this. Especially if it's like this. Like if it's done well, if it's, you know, anyone who like pitches storylines and everything along those lines, like it needs to be fleshed out. It can't just be um, being like, "Oh, now we're definitely gonna do a Spider-Man," like a Spider-Man 98, right? Like, and then whatever happens, happens. Let's just start it. Like, let's think this out. Actually, already wrote. Oh, Polly, I'm gonna have to check this out. But yeah, You kind of give us a synopsis. It's a dynamic between the characters. They show you why and how they care about each other. They aren't ignoring soap, and then they pay attention to the comics and what makes each character themselves. Totally. I mean, the show did such a good job of being adapting the comic lines, but having the soap opera played in is hugely helpful, right? Like that's what makes it interesting. Besides just there's a bad guy, here's the conflict, here's a good person slash superhero, and now they have this conflict, and now we have to go beat bad guy, right? Like yes, that is the overarching storyline for most superhero stuff. But besides just making it that, having that soap opera turned in and then building up the characters and what makes each of them interesting is truly where I think people get invested more. And then they're just along for the ride for the big overarching story of taking down a bad person. Mo, don't you leave this live stream for work again. How dare you? How dare you leave this live stream for work? I'm just kidding. Do what you got to do. Yeah. No, you're right, Polly. No, Mo, we've been talking about how one, we need to turn this into an animated universe, like you had said, and then two, we need um like this has been the best one project that Marvel has ever put out, including live action, like all together. Uh, and then Polly kind of gave us a synopsis of her review that she wrote of saying like why it works so well compared to other X-Men adaptations. Quoting, this is the dynamic between the characters. They show you why and how they care about each other. They aren't ignoring soap, and then they pay attention to the comics and what makes each character themselves. I feel like after rewatching the animated series, like yes, they had the overarching plots, they just weren't season long. So it was kind of like very short and quick. And like sometimes it was just like going through and I'm like, oh, all right, that's done, I guess. And now we're on to this new thing. Let's see. X Factor spinoff, please. I mean, that would be fun. That would definitely be fun. I want them to make a Fantastic Four, Avengers, and Spider-Man cartoon set in the 90s in that universe. They need to. Speaking of, by the way, Morph was definitely Reed Richards, right? Like that Reed Richards was definitely Morph. It had to be. Someone verify that for me. And Polly did say, like, yeah, instead of a dull, oh no, my best friend Gambit is dead. I'm gonna go grab a snack. Yeah. Like that, yeah, it definitely works. I definitely got to watch Evolution. I have not watched that, Polly, so I need to do that. Yeah, Morph turned into Reed. Thank you for clarifying. I was like, it had to be. I think this season, Clumsy Lemon, I think this season had overarching plot. Previous ones were mostly episodic, yeah, which isn't bad, but plot of the season need to be overarching. Yeah, totally. We only talked about the talk with Cable, Gene, and Scott for a hot second. Basically, when I said that, that's where I started to tear up a little bit. But we didn't really get too deep into it. It was just nice to see like Cable finally accepting. I mean, he's kind of already accepted it before of like Jean being his mom Yes, and Scott acknowledging the generational trauma, right? And, like, trying to, um, in a way, not necessarily stop it, right? Cable's an adult at this point, but, like, at least acknowledging it. Basically what you said, yes. Yeah, it was nice that Cable dropped the whole fake mom thing because I was like, "Come on, man. Let's get over this. You're an adult." Yeah, Cyclops taking off the visor to look at Cable. Ugh, trying to be yeah, Mo, trying to be better than his dad, but still making the same mistake. Right? Cable being salty about the legendary stories, but only because he wanted to be a part of it, which is, like, so sad too, right? When he was just like, "I should have been there. Like, I should have been a part of those stories and on that team." Scott admitting to being an awful parent, and yet wait till he meets the rest of his offspring. I only know a little bit of his offspring, Polly, from the little bits that I've read of Krakoa, but yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Yeah, the little bit that I've read, Polly, she just loves Shogo so much in the little bit that I've read in, Krakoa. It's so good. Also, how this whole tragic affair brings Scott and Jean together is beautiful. It really is, right? Like, if we think back, I forget which episode, 3, 4, when they weren't, like, talking at all. What else do we got here? Something else with Scott. Let's hear it, Mo. Right? Y'all, when Scott told Wolverine to get better for her, the thruple. Totally. They kinda played it off for a hot second, like, you could have thought that he was maybe talking about Jubilee, right, in that second, right? Because she was kinda looking over Wolverine at the time, but you definitely right. They're talking about Jean, and then when Morph turned into Jean, man, Scott likes to watch. Oh, man. But when Morph turned into Jean to, like, help Wolverine, also talk about a good friend. All I know is they gotta do something else with Morph, next season because I like the way that they utilized him, like, it was very, utilize them, I should say, utilize them to bring cameos into this season, but we really didn't get much else from Morph. I agree, Marvel Reader. I took that as Morph telling Logan that he loves him. Yeah, or that they love him, right? I think so. Um, Lucas, nice of you to be here. This season was a banger. I look forward to seeing Scott and Jean parent young Nathan in the future. Forge making a brand new cyborg arm for Cable. Cable, Bishop, and Forge searching for the X-Men. Totally. It's gonna be fun. Polly, that's what the visor is for. uh, my concern for Morph is that he remains in the form of Jean. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about that. You might have been on your call, Mo. We never saw Storm at the end. We never saw Wolverine at the end. I could have swore Morph was wait, you might be right. Maybe we didn't see Morph. I thought he was in Egypt with like Rogue, Magneto, Charles, but maybe I was just imagining that. Morph in the form of Jean, that's something Mystique would do. Totally. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Totally clumsy lemon. I mean, Morph was good in this season. I like the way that they used him, and then obviously compared to the way that they used them compared to previous, the animated series where they kind of gave Morph redemption, but then just had him go away again, had them go away again. It was kind of, you know, just kind of a character that they could use. But I really hope that they do something more with them in future seasons. I really thought that Morph was going to get a little bit more, some sort of revenge on Sinister um, this season, and we really didn't. We really didn't see much. I thought there was going to be more of that. No, you're don't be sorry, Mo, for backtracking. No, no being sorry. That was his revenge though, Lucas, right? At the end when they showed Sinister what he looked like, yeah, that was cold. And he was Morph was like, what do you say? I didn't see anything change too much. Morph was cold for that, for sure. Oh, we're going back to the Bastion speech, which is good because I didn't miss it. It's just like again, so much was happening, and I was like, I don't have time to write this down. I gotta watch this. He says he must protect humanity from itself, from the hearts that start dripping red at the latest token underdog. Wow, that is a really good phrase. That is a really good phrase for sure. It is weird how currently applicable it is. Yeah, the writing on this has been so good, right? And again, the excuse me, the allegories for everything are so strong. Um, it's just it's so true. Mo, if you want, what is it? Um, there's a couple of books by this author, Morgan Housel. One is The Psychology of Money, where he talks about a lot of stuff. But anyway, he came out with a book recently called Same as Ever. And he was like, most of this stuff has always been happening. And I know you know this, is that with the advent of the internet and the way that we can send messages so much more quickly, right? It's like everything seems like it's happening and all this stuff is so much, but you're right, there's always been bullshit all over the world. We just haven't been privy to it, right? We just didn't know it was always happening everywhere. And in the book, he basically highlights stuff that like essentially the same everything happens in cycles and really nothing really changes. We talk about all these like crazy events that occur, but when you look back in history, usually within 100-year periods, it's the same shit over and over again. Claude, we are supposed to get an assembled. I don't know if we'll maybe get, the writing and these speeches in that and the but there's supposed to be an assembled next Wednesday. I don't know what time it's supposed to come out. I'm assuming it's going to be the same time. Like 12 Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern would be my guess. And I am planning for us to rejoin again and chat about it because if you haven't watched a Marvel Assembled, those are amazing. I love the behind the scenes kind of stuff. So that'll be fun to see this. Yeah, I agree, Marvel Reader. That's what has lifted the whole series. They leaned into the social commentary that only the X-Men can provide. Final stage of OZT was a callback to what future Kitty Pryde told the X-Men in Days of Future Past. The Sentinels turned on all superhumans, Chris Claremont was prophetic. I was watching another channel, and they were basically like the good old days were really when people were ignorant of how awful we were being to each other. Sort of. Oh, thanks, Super J, for looking that up. Assembled. Yeah, next week, same time as normal. So we will have an assembled. The good old days. I know that just like one, the quote unquote good old days is just used by usually people who don't agree with m- most of the stuff that X Men agrees with. That's what. Oh God. Yeah. No. True. Exactly, Mo. Good for who? Yeah. That's what's never said, but we know the answer. Exactly. It goes back to this whole thing of basically quote unquote things changing for people who one look like me and are feeling afraid that they're going to lose the power. I don't know. I don't get it. I just don't get it. It like blows my mind. It's just like so crazy to me that like the good old days when, racism was strong and no one, the people in charge at all the big name companies were basically raping women and no one said anything and just all the sexual harassment. Those were the good old days. Of course they were for you, people in charge. Oh gosh. Woke treasure. Nice. That's good, Mo. Let's see. Oh, they're gonna release a soundtrack, Super J? I didn't know that either. That is good. I like that. Polly. I still feel like people like Val knew what was gonna happen, but didn't want their hands dirty. Agreed. It was kind of like it was interesting that I mean, that was kinda sort of hinted at, right? Like, she knew what was going on, but then was like, "Nah, I'm not gonna say anything because I don't wanna be a part of it." Anyone seen the reaction from the toxic fans? Have they taken back their words about this being woke trash? I haven't seen anything because I just try to just block half of that crap out anymore, 1. But I always do like to see what they wanna say because I do wanna, like I just try to not start shit with people, but that's just me trying to be a good person, I think. But I haven't seen anyone take anything back per se, or this being woke trash, but they'll find something. They'll find something. No, yeah, you're right. I do that. I have a couple of YouTube, accounts, and I'll go to one that I just don't care about and search stuff through there, and some of it pops up. But I on most of, like, my actual channel, it doesn't really pop up. In fact, I get, like, super pissed when I accidentally search something, like, not even Marvel related, and I'm like, "Ah, god damn it, this is gonna ruin my algorithm now." Polly, I also said that in my I said that also in my Magneto was right essay, but seriously, they wanted the same Genosha, but in dark alleys and not on a massive scale for all to see. Yep. Polly, why toxic fans? Why would I look into sewers? I actually looked on Twitter and some did take it back, like, oh, I was afraid of Vogue, but I actually can ignore it. They had nothing, so they turned on Doctor Who this week. Oh, yeah, totally. It's hard for them to say anything about it, and now with I'm sure they're gonna harp on all the toxic people are gonna harp on, all the other recent news that just came out, right? Like Ironheart's still moving forward. Um, I'm waiting for people to just shit all over that, unfortunately. I mean, people are shitting on Agatha. Mo, you even quoted someone who was like, "Who asked for this show, Agatha?" Like, did anyone ask for any of these shows? I mean, people have been asking, but like, I'm just happy to watch it. Shit. We did not talk about the Phoenix part, which is Mo. She did faint after it. I didn't realize that. We did skip over the whole Phoenix part, which was great. I don't know how we skipped over this. Ah, Mo, they're gonna ignore the woke, are they? So basically what they always do. Yeah. Right, Mo? I'm always asking. I want whatever Marvel wants to do. I'm locked in. I'm right there. I don't know what to expect with Agatha. That's the boat I'm in. I don't either. I liked Agatha and WandaVision. WandaVision is not my favorite Disney Plus Marvel show. I probably Loki's up there. I'm a big fan of Miss Marvel. I just love that. I just love Miss Marvel. I love Iman Vellani. She like brings the character to life for me. So it just like it's so good and like I don't know. It's just like so cool to see literally a comic book Marvel nerd just like us. And it seems like Iman Vellani literally has almost the same history as Kamala Khan. And the fact that she's like basically being herself on screen just makes that character so much better. I digress. But yeah, Phoenix. I love that Cable told Bastion, "You forgot about my mom," acknowledging her as his mom for the first time. Ah, so true. I didn't even make that two and two together. And now I'm seeing Bastion beat Cable with his own arm. That was just like rough. I was like, damn. Then he just like, I don't understand how he was like, I'm just gonna put this on my back and it's gonna become wings. Phoenix always rises again, and that's again just like the first time Phoenix showed up from the water. Is that in the comics, Polly, or animated series? Both. I can't remember the animated series. I think they were in space when that whole thing happened. Oh, it was a reference to X Force. Okay, I got you, Mo. I see now. He absorbed the techno organic virus. That makes sense. And yeah, if you don't like Aman Vellani, we can't get along. We just can't. Polly, do you think that they're gonna try Phoenix again, live action? Because they've done it twice now, and not so great. I see. So OG from the comics. Okay. I mean, that would be cool to see live action. I'm just wondering if they're even gonna touch it again, at least for a while. Oh, flashback. Yeah, that's fair. Instead of like making it the whole storyline. Yeah, they should pretend like it already happened. Yeah, Mo, that whole, like as you're rewatching this right now, that whole scene when he's just there again, just like for me, it was just, like, super sad to see. Like, 1, the fact that you can't remember the faces of your family is just sad. But 2, again, I just look at the contrast when they're, like, Omega level mutant, and now he may just, like, forget everything in his past, and then he's just, like, there. He can't even remember the people in his life. It's just, like, so sad. Polly, I don't wanna see Gene die again. I don't actually wanna see Gene. Do the Wolverine and the X-Men thing where she's in a coma or dead. I haven't seen New Mutants, the movie, but I heard it was good, and it would be nice to see, like, where they go moving forward in the future with live action X-Men stuff. It will be interesting. Will be interesting to see what they do. I just think everything's gonna be interesting moving forward, just given the fact that there's gonna be, quote, unquote, "a soft reboot, soft reset" of the MCU. It's all getting convoluted right now with all the things, especially now we're bringing in Fantastic Four, X-Men, and it's all coming to a building up to Secret Wars. Yeah, I haven't seen New Mutants. I wanna watch it, though. I've got too much stuff to watch. Too much stuff to watch. I need to start. I need to keep going. Now I gotta put on X-Men Evolution, thanks to Polly. I would love I mean, Polly said it earlier, with all these damn cameos they made, they better make an animated MCU. Part of me thinks it's just like one of those things where they were like, "We're gonna build these in. If this show does well, we'll have the option to write these stories, right? And if it doesn't, then it doesn't. No skin off our back. We made the cameos, made some people happy, and that's that." But I think given the fact of how well this is done, this is also hard. I have seen people kind of complain that um, X-Men 97 hasn't done as good, or this may be fake news anyway, but like people are putting out fake news of like X-Men 97 isn't doing as good as expected because it's only popular within the people who like Marvel. And I don't really have another viewpoint because I'm in that circle, right? So like from the outside, it's hard to tell. Also very true, Polly. There are people who wait to see, to just binge it. Agreed, Super J. Secret Wars is going to be crazy. It's going to be interesting to see what they do moving forward. I believe that it's the third most watched show on the platform, Marvel Reader, like totally. And supposedly Disney Plus, probably given with their combination of Hulu, took over for the most. I don't know. It's like 11 or 13 some percent, like the most streamed or watched stuff, overtaking YouTube by a couple of percentage points, which is huge. You are right, Polly. We were literally in the first few hours of 97's life. True. And given the fact that it's animated, like Mo said, like it's doing great. 6.8% of total viewing time on Disney Plus this year. And we're what, 4.5 months in, and it's an animated show. Like that's you're crushing it. And now I do wonder too, right, if they include on Disney Plus like Hulu, anything else that's like streaming via Hulu too. And that's a lot. That's a lot of shows. So to be 6.8% of that, that's got that it's crushing. But they better make an animated universe. Hulu and Stars. I don't know what star or but yeah, I don't know what it is. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe yeah, you might be right, Polly. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff now under Disney Plus, right? And to be 6.8% of that is huge. Oh, I mean, I 100% agree. The show is 100% a success. Oh, Stars Disney Plus in the European and Asian markets. I did not know that. Oh my goodness, come on, computer. But yeah, no, this show is 100% success. I saw that they just submitted um, episode 5, Remember It, for an Emmy of some sort, which, man, they got to get something. Like this thing better win something for that episode. I don't care if you've never watched or have read an X-Men comic in your life. That episode, literally one of the best episodes of TV I've ever watched. I agree, Polly. Give them a Nobel. Honestly, it needs to get something. It better win something. But I don't want it to just win like an animation thing. Not saying that it shouldn't win something for animation, but like it needs to it better win something for some sort of like writing, whatever it is. Like the writing is just too good. Mo's gonna create I saw your post the other day, Mo, on Threads, and you're like, Mo is gonna create himself his own degree in X-Men 97. He's gonna create himself his own degree in X-Men 97. So a primetime they submitted it for a primetime Emmy. It should be interesting. Also given whatever else it goes up against, because I don't watch much TV at this point, or like TV shows that are like currently running. And if I do, it's really nothing good. Like not stuff that would necessarily win a primetime Emmy that I think. Like Bob's Burgers, which hasn't had an episode, or like Abbott Elementary, which hasn't had a damn episode in like 8 weeks. I'm like, where the hell are these at? If Mephisto was involved, maybe he might have been, and maybe even Doctor Doom was involved. They're like, you know what? Doctor Doom's gonna give you some amazing writers from Latveria. I need to get my mom back from Mephisto, and we need to get moving forward on this. No, I'm pumped for the assembled. I love behind the scenes anything. Like I love behind the scenes stuff, and I'm excited for the assembled episode. Bob's Burgers production got squashed by the strike. Yeah, that's what I read. Marvel Reader. Like I think they even have less episodes than normal because of the strike, and it's just like threw everything off in terms of production and everything. So makes sense. I just like every week I turn on Disney Hulu and I'm like, is there a Bob's episode? And there's not. All right, I guess I'll watch something else. They're probably won't tell us, but the rumors are hard to kill. Yeah. No, I'm excited to see the assembled episode. I wonder how much they're gonna show or have Bo in it, because I can't remember how much in the Assembled after Loki season 2 that they had Jonathan Majors in it. Now, mind you, Jonathan Majors wasn't fired yet. He was still part of Disney, but they were like toting the line of being careful of how much they showed of him. Whereas Bo's Bo's been fired, so I wonder how much that they ended up cutting, if at all. So next season is Ascani's son. What's the other storyline involving ancient Egypt? I don't know any. Polly's gonna have to fill us in. Polly probably knows, and anyone else, feel free to say what they are. But I would put some money on Polly knowing. We know how they like to cram a bunch of stories into the 10 episodes. I wonder if they, yeah, I wonder if they do the Phalanx Covenant. Yeah, I'm right there with you, Super J. I know nothing either. I've read like the first year of Krakoa and some random old X stories. That's about it. Polly. The Egypt storyline is the origins of Apocalypse. And Rogue. Do they not teach history in your school? It's Egypt. uh, there we go. Yuri knows. It seems we are getting Exani Sun, Adventures of Cyclops, and Phoenix storyline, Origins of Apocalypse. Yeah, Egypt always means apocalypse, and they actually met him, so that's a given. But future and present also hint at him. Also true, Polly, in that mid-credit scene. And Gambit becoming Death, and I'm thinking Logan will become War. Ooh. Semi-related to Cable, Marvel told the writers they couldn't use Deadpool, which was interesting. But yeah, they didn't need Deadpool. I agree, Polly. Yeah, Deadpool is closely tied to Cable in the comics. That little bit that I do know. I haven't read too many Deadpool ones, but Deadpool for me, I like just because of Mr. No Feet. Yeah. I wonder if we're gonna get Ramatut and Mortis Kang. Ooh, I like that Marvel reader. In X-Force, he was a big adversary, yeah. He doesn't really have to be anywhere most of the time. Yeah. I l Deadpool, I'm, like, conflicted. I like I like him. When I think of him, right, I just think of the movies. One, because 'cause I've only read so many comics, but when I think of Deadpool, I think of Ryan Reynolds' impersonation of Deadpool. And, um, it's just like from what I understand, Deadpool has had some really good comic and story arcs that, like, actually make him somewhat relatable, but a lot of times, I think the biggest downfall to Deadpool is that he can be written in so many different ways, and a lot of times he's just the typical asshole, and if they're not a good writer, they just, like, feed off of that the entire time, and there's no relatability to that, and I'm just like, "I get that this is your thing, Deadpool, but, like, maybe we can kinda change it up a little bit?" Yeah. Kang is more of an Avengers thing. He is more of an Avengers thing, but he's also tied to Reed Richards, so Fantastic Four, and he's pretty much and Marvel Reader's right, but, like, we're dealing with time travel, so nothing's really off the table, and he's just, like, everywhere. Mo, I really want them to bring in Strife, Domino, Cannonball, Boom Boom, Pharaoh, and Shatterstar. Those would be some good ones to see. That was said in the comics that he looked like Ryan Reynolds, so that was pretty much the only option always. I think the future's gonna be about Strife. If, uh, yeah, there's so many different like Deadpool styles of writing from the little bit that I've done, and I've been reading more of a recent run just to like see. And it seems like that writer is just more of like the real jokey kind of like asshole Deadpool. Yeah. Supposedly though, well, I think that was a different thing with that was a different thing that I was reading. Supposedly in like an interview with Jonathan Hickman, like Franklin Richards was off the table for anything in Krakoa, basically. And I supposedly that's why part of the reason why he left, I guess, at some point in Krakoa. I don't know much of the gossip on that end. Yeah, supposedly Polly, the one that I know, the only thing that I've looked up is like there's one storyline where Deadpool, like I think has a he has a daughter and something along those lines where he does something and he's like an actually good character. Mo, another question for y'all. Does this show encourage people to get on Marvel Unlimited and read the old comics? That is a great question. I mean, it's a very good possibility that it does. And I feel like people do. I want to say, though, for probably a majority of the public, that they don't. And that's just my take on it. I feel like they would much rather just be told the answers versus read them. Whereas, like, I'm the perfect example. Like, this is why like I started my YouTube channel because I went from not liking any MCU movie. I shouldn't say not liking. I just wasn't into anything. Like I watched the beginning Iron Mans and the first couple of floors and I was like, standard superhero stuff. And then again, I don't know what it was, but I saw Black Panther in theaters and I was just like, this is not like any other superhero movie that I've ever seen. And then there were a whole bunch of other characters in there that I didn't know because I didn't watch all of the like MCU up to that time point. And I was like, I need to know all the things that are happening. So then I just went through all MCU stuff. And then as I did more, I was like, I really still feel like I'm missing stuff. So I feel like I really need to read the comics because I would look up these things from people and be like, "Who is this character?" And nothing against some of these other like YouTube people, but like some of them will go like heavy into like background and like lots of storylines. I'm like, I don't want this much detail. I want some less detail, but enough, right? So I figured if I was asking these questions, other people were asking these questions. Hence why some of the stuff that I make in terms of like character highlights, especially for like what people are going to see in the MCU, because they're going to ask that question, and they don't have a lot of times they don't give all of the background. And some people do, and so now it has led to me spending more money on comics than I ever thought I was going to, which I do enjoy. It's been fun, and just like finding this community on Threads has been super fun and awesome. X Men exploded. So let's go back in the chat here. The 80s and 90s X Men comics were wild, and there were a lot of them. X Men exploded in the early 90s. So I'm very optimistic. Polly said, don't know about old comics. Those are its own thing. But again, whenever people ask where to start, I always send them to Claremont, but there's a long speech style to get used to. Super J, if I had the money, I would totally read them. Totally. I tell you what, Super J, if you were going to spend some money, it could be a big bit at once, and you have to, I think, and it's better to do. But like Marvel Unlimited is literally the best deal that you could get. The only thing that you don't get are the most up to date comics. They do come out like 3 months late after they've been released. That's because they're trying to get the physical sales, which makes sense. But you have access to almost every single Marvel comic. It's literally for the 65, $75, whatever it is, upfront, or it's like the 9.95 or whatever it is if you pay monthly. It's totally worth it. Yeah. And there's always tons of promos like Mo's talking about, like the first month is for $1. You can find some promos. You can even find like maybe like a 15% off promo for a year or something like that. Mo, you're describing how I got into comics, read one, and was like, "Who are these other people?" And then realized there's a huge universe. That's exactly it. And now I'm just like in way too deep, and I love it. There's always fandom, but the best things happen on panel. There's so much that that I've gotten from comics. It's been great, but yeah, it's definitely gotten way more expensive. Just everything. I've said it before on here, but like just to live anymore is like $1 million. It's ridiculous. When I first started reading comics, they were $1.25 an issue. Yeah. And I bought the Doom one shot today. It was fucking 7.99. And I love Doom, so I'll pay it. Yeah, the annoying part is that singles aren't available everywhere. Yeah, in Europe, unlimited is the best option. Yeah, that's gotta be terribly annoying, Polly. Yeah, it's also crazy to me that digital is just as expensive, or more, right? It's crazy. Marvel Reader, I started collecting when they were 75 cents. Yeah, current comics are too much money for too little story. They definitely do put in too much fluff now. I realized that while reading the old school issues. Totally. Like just even reading, so much happened in that Nightcrawler solo series that I bought off of eBay. Um, like in that first issue, that's the only one I've read. So much happened in that first issue. And I'm like, man, this would be like 2 or 3 books right now, probably in regular day comics. I will not start collecting statues, Polly. I'm sure that is a money pit. Yeah. New comics do feel better when you do binge. Again, point in favor of unlimited. Trades are great, and I've picked up a good amount just from like older storylines. Like I have Hickman's Avengers like complete, and then I'm gonna do his Fantastic Four, just given the fact that people say that they're just so good. You're probably right, Mo. It's probably a consequence of the artist not being able to churn out pages fast enough. And then what they do too is like this pissed me off. Oh my god, they like switch out artists for a few issues. And I wonder if that's to like help speed up the process a little bit, or if they like either or they overextend some of the artists on certain projects, and so they're like, oh, I can't do all this stuff, so we got to bring in someone else to do some art for a couple of pages. But like that caught me off guard on Ultimate Spider-Man, the last one. It's been Marco Cicchetto, who's great, amazing artist, and he does the cover art. So I was just assuming that it was him, and I opened it up and I was like, this is not Marco Cicchetto. And I was like, this is not him. And I didn't mind the artist style, but whoever did the last issue of Ultimate Spider-Man, they just didn't do a really good job, in my personal opinion. They just like went from like it was mainly dialogue, which is fine, but it was like face of Peter, face of MJ, face of Harry, face of Gwen Stacy. And like from panel to panel, their faces would change. They weren't like the same. I was like, this looks like a different person from it was 2 panels over. What is happening? They have to switch artists to keep it up monthly. I would imagine so, and almost no current artist can maintain a monthly schedule for a full year. There's probably no way. You're also not wrong in that probably the page count is now less. Like some of the stuff, yeah, and the breaks are too long. I agree, Polly. Like sometimes I'll pick up a comic that I've been following, and then I go back and I'm like, I think I need to read the last issue because I don't remember what the hell happened. I'm not gonna be mean to artists anymore. Those two are my limit. Love everyone else. Definitely old school comics. You get way more bang for your buck. I will say, currently, at least, the current run of Fantastic Four is awesome. I've been enjoying it. Also, it's a very limited series, but Spider-Man: Shadow of the Green Goblin, that is doing really well. I really enjoy it. And that's from an old school though. I feel like he has that style. It's J.M. D. Matisse. I don't know. He like helped create Craven the Hunter. He's written some Spider-Man stuff. And it reads like an old school Spidey comic. I feel like I get so much out of that issue versus something else like I've been reading. Go for it, Mo. Talk all the shit. I might even not know who this artist is. But I can't stand oh, I do know who this is. JRJ. I hate his art. Totally fine, man. I can't say that I love it. I don't think I've seen it. I've definitely seen it. But I don't think I don't know if I've read anything that he's that's not true. I've read some stuff that he's been an artist on. But, like, yeah, what I have read is exactly that, Mo. What I have read is whatever it was, like, 20 years ago is what I've read. But, like, anything recently, I don't think I've read anything drawn by him recently, so I don't really have much to say. Some of the stuff that I have seen, though, like the covers that he's done, little little chaka chaka, to say the least. Super J, thanks for being here. I'm planning on being here next week after Assembled. So appreciate you always being here. Appreciate you on Threads. See you next week. Yeah, some covers are creative. I will say that, Polly. Yeah, he's done some covers recently where I'm like, oh, I don't, I don't know about that. Yeah, they definitely. He has one right. I mean, he's definitely ridden off the coattails of his dad when he first started, right? And I think that's just been like carried on. But also, he, like you said, he did good 20 years ago. And I think he's just riding the coattails of 20 years ago. Chichetto is really good. I really have enjoyed Chichetto on Ultimate Spider-Man. The name escapes me on Black Panther, but that's also really good. Also, Daniel Acuna, he on gosh, whatever it is right now. I can't think. Oh my goodness. Avengers Twilight. Yeah, Stefano Caselli. That's right. Um, but also Daniel Acuna on Avengers Twilight. His art is Really good. I like it. I'm gonna give props to Mark Brooks, mainly because his Disney-fied X-Men. Oh man, yeah, that guy you've been sharing on Instagram, he is that's so good. So good, Mo. I started following him after you shared it. I was like, I just gotta get this in my feed. This is good. Chris Bacalo. I don't know who that is. Now I'm gonna look it up. No, now I don't know if I'm getting actual Chris Bacalo stuff. Where are we? Here we are. Sarah Pacelli. I feel like I've seen that name. I feel like I've seen that name somewhere. Okay. Yeah. I've seen some of her stuff. Oops. There we are. Oh, okay. I didn't know that, Mo. I did not know he co-created Miles Morales. That's cool. Or she. Sorry. The style is definitely different of the new X-Men. Polly is definitely different, but I kind of like it. I'm not gonna lie. What I've seen in the previews looks. I like it. Mo, I don't even want to shit on the current artists. We fans are really demanding. Yeah, it's it can't be easy. One, I'm terrible at drawing. So like anyone who has some sort of semblance of being able to draw, I'm like, good for you, because I cannot do that. It's my favorite. Kevin Wada. Oh yeah, I've seen these Polly from Kevin Wada. Wada. I don't know how you say it. I've definitely seen that style. I was gonna say, as I'm like looking stuff up, Iceman. He's done some Iceman, or at least a cover, because it looks very familiar. Some She-Hulk. I think what the current books need are breakdown artists to basically storyboard the issues. They used to do that in the Silver Age to hurry the art along. I love that we've gone from X-Men to deep diving into comic book art. Totally. Who does I need to look up? What? It's gone back and forth. I was looking up who has done the recent Fantastic Four run, and it looks like it goes back and forth between Ivan Fiorelli and Iban Quello. I think I like Quello's better. Um, his style. I've been enjoying that. And Alex Ross, he's been doing all the covers on the current Fantastic Four run. They're just incredible. Marvel Reader, peace out, man. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next week. I am also going to miss X-Men 97. Definitely help. I mean, Threads is huge. I also feel like currently on Threads, I don't know if anyone else is seeing this, but if I don't make, if my post isn't like regarding X-Men 97, not that it matters, but like the reach of X-Men, anything that's not a post about X-Men 97 on Threads is like garbage. I also agree it has helped YouTube grow. But Polly's right. It has helped us all grow as persons. So true. Mo, we're just gonna keep talking about other stuff, man. You just got to keep doing that on YouTube. Just talk about Adventures of Superman, whatever's trending is like the way to go. You consider yourself bad at social media? I would not. I would not say that about you, Mo. I always, at this point, I have no like in terms of likes or whatever. I have zero expectations. So honestly, I always just try to remember, like at the end of that like or a view or comment, whatever, was like a real person who spent the time looking at your post and or your video and watched it a little bit enough to either like it or comment or at least viewed it. So I'm like, hey, you know what? That's good. Agreed, Polly. Yeah, it is depressing. Well, this is why we have this live stream. So we can just talk. We can just talk about this stuff. That's all. In a casual, safe space. If you want to shit on JR, you can. If you want to shit on someone else, you can. It's totally okay. Yep. Agreed, Mo. I just want to talk about nerd shit with other people that like what I like. Same. Same, bro. Because in real life, I don't have many people that I can talk. Not that this isn't real. In person, I don't have many people that I can talk about it with. Excuse me. So it's it's it's. I really enjoy the community that X-Men 97 has built up, and then that we're like trying to carry over here, at least on these live streams. It's been fun. I agree, Polly. Like I spend most of my day like thinking about X-Men 97 or something else Marvel related, and I'm just like all I can think about or like want to watch is like more Marvel shows. But like I spent some time with my wife trying to watch something, and I'm like, don't you want to watch this? Right? Like, don't you want to watch this Marvel thing? Usually I save that stuff for when I'm by myself because I know she doesn't want to watch all of the things. She will at least go to the movies with me. She watches some of that. I think she gets too into the weeds and she's like, ah. I did see that, Mo, that they're going to be interviewing the X-Men 97 production team, so that's going to be dope. I know. That's what I'm hoping for, Polly. I'm hoping my little girl will watch it with me. She's starting to sit longer for movies. She's just, like, too into Miss Rachel, but, like, she watched, like, half of Toy Story the other day, which is the longest she's ever watched, like, an animated thing that was, like, a movie. So, she's getting there. She's almost 2, so, like, I have 0 expectations of her sitting through anything for that long of a time. Thank you, Polly. Yes. I know. It's very much a paradox where you want them to grow up, to, like, leave some of this, like, stuff behind, like the bad like, the temper tantrums, but also you don't want that to happen because, 1, there's just more problems and, your problems change, but also, um, yeah, you also don't want that time to go be sped up. Natasha Lyonne is joining Fantastic Four movie. I'm not even sure I know who that is. Maybe I do. I just don't know her by her name. Oh, I do know her. Yes, I just don't know her by her name. She's apparently joining Fantastic Four. Interesting. What? Some of these folks that they're bringing on for Fantastic Four, one I'm excited about, but I'm also really curious to know like who they're going to be playing. It really is stupidly stacked, like crazy. He's not playing around with Fantastic Four. But like I want to know who the hell is John Malkovich going to be? Who is she going to be? All I need is from Fantastic Four is the theme song from the cartoon. Again, something else that I need to watch, Polly. And it's just one of those things that's like in my lineup. I'm like, I need to watch this, but there's too many things that I need to watch, and I don't know where to start. Yeah, the song. That's the song. Oh my gosh, I might just look this up on YouTube just so I can hear that. But yeah, there's just like so many. They're like bringing all these people on. It's gonna be interesting. Mm, oops, there we go. Yeah, they're not messing around with Fantastic Four, which is dope. I hope it does well. I hope it does well. All right, folks. I'm unfortunately going to call it because I should probably do something else. That's not live streaming. As much as I want to keep doing it, but I should probably do something else. I thank you all for coming here so much. We will. What else is there to do? Of course, Mo. That's why I'm here. This is just fun for me to do. I just love it. I love like what we already talked about, just chatting with like-minded people. Oh, we're definitely talking about Assemble next week, and then we're gonna have to figure out a plan for live streaming after that. Maybe we'll just join up to chat. Who the hell knows? But yeah, we're definitely meeting up for Assemble next week. Appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much. And then, like I always say, I got a new job. Congrats. Not sure what my schedule is, but if I'm off, I will be there. Appreciate you, Mo. I will see everyone on Threads in like 5 minutes.